A pivotal week for ZBCN begins. Stay with me. Markets awaken in London as crypto screens flicker alive. The announcement ZBCN holders have been waiting for could drop this week. Zebec Network confirmed FCA regulatory progress is expected by end of October 2025. And we are in the final days of the month. This is the biggest regulatory catalyst for ZBCN since the Kraken listing on October 15th that sent the token up 21% in a week. But here's what most people are missing. The FCA announcement is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. While everyone is focused on price action, Zebec has been quietly building regulatory infrastructure that puts them years ahead of competitors. And the data I'm about to show you proves institutions are already positioning themselves. Let's break down exactly what's happening and why this week could change everything for ZBCN. Behind the headlines, infrastructure hums, servers spin, bandwidth surges, and systems stand ready for regulatory news that could land any moment. Folders stamped FCA, MiCA, and SOC2 stack neatly on the desk, each page a marker of progress, not promises. LED tickers scroll ZBCN as green arrows pulse upward, signaling strength building beneath measured flows and disciplined positioning. Social chatter spikes and consolidates around compliance narratives, while watch lists across desks quietly add ZBCN. A new dawn over the Thames hints at confirmation, calm before the signal. First, let's talk about the regulatory moat Zebec is building. They already secured MiCA compliance and SOC2 approval. For those who don't know, MiCA is the European Union's comprehensive crypto regulation framework that most projects are struggling to comply with. SOC2 is an enterprise-grade security certification that traditional financial institutions require before they'll even consider integration. This isn't just checking boxes. This is Zebec positioning themselves as the only DeFi payment streaming protocol that can legally operate across US, European, and UK markets simultaneously. The SEC also provided clearer guidelines on DeFi tokens in October 2025, and ZBCN fits perfectly within the compliant framework. While other projects are getting regulatory pushback, Zebec is getting regulatory green lights. When the FCA announcement drops, Zebec will have the regulatory trifecta: US clarity, EU MiCA approval, and UK FCA progress. No other payment streaming protocol has this level of regulatory positioning. Leadership aligns rollout phases by jurisdiction, mapping responsibilities, timelines, and controls for a coordinated global launch. Legal teams annotate October guidance, clarifying DPIN standards line by line to lock interpretations. Security clears hardware keys and audit trails. Authentication lights confirm enterprise-grade access and policy compliance. US, EU, and UK nodes synchronize under compliance shields, forming a defensible regulatory perimeter. Builders push late into the night, shipping product over talking about it. Regulators move methodically. Signals matter. Noise does not. Now let's talk about the technology that's going to power the next generation of payments. Zebec integrated Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin on the XRP Ledger, and this is massive. RLUSD is Ripple's institutional-grade stablecoin designed for cross-border payments. By integrating RLUSD, Zebec can now facilitate real-time payment streaming on XRP Ledger, with institutional liquidity backing every transaction. But it gets better. Zebec deployed the Axelar bridge connecting Solana, XRP Ledger, and Ethereum. This means ZBCN can power cross-chain payment streaming across the three largest smart contract ecosystems. And here's the kicker. Zebec Network is merging with trillion-dollar payment rails through CodaPi and FedNow connections. FedNow is the Federal Reserve's instant payment system. CodaPi connects to traditional banking infrastructure. This means Zebec isn't just a crypto project. They're building the bridge between blockchain and traditional finance. When you combine RLUSD liquidity, XRP Ledger speed, and FedNow integration, you have the infrastructure for mainstream payment adoption. The NBA Atlanta Hawks jersey sponsorship with Uphold featuring ZBCN isn't just marketing, It's proof that major brands see Zebec as the future of payments. Real-time RLUSD streams demonstrate practical payments. Seconds, not days. Clear, traceable, and programmable. Instant settlement collapses latency across domestic rails, aligning treasury timing with operational reality. Throughput rises as network fibers accelerate, enabling consistent, high-frequency value transfer. Global hubs interlink. Delays stabilize near zero as routes optimize. Now let's look at what the smart money is doing. Uphold holds $100 million in ZBCN assets. That's not retail speculation, that's institutional positioning. ZBCN surged 440% over the past month, but here's what's interesting. The price action has been relatively stable after the initial Kraken listing pump. This suggests accumulation, not speculation. When I tracked Zebec transactions over 30 days, I found consistent large wallet accumulation patterns. Institutions don't buy tokens for short-term flips. They accumulate for long-term infrastructure plays. The Kraken listing gave institutions the liquidity they needed to build positions without massive slippage. The FCA announcement will give them the regulatory clarity they need to deploy serious capital. Analysts circle accumulation. Clarity plus liquidity attracts size, not speculation. Night volumes climb as desks scale bids and manage risk cleanly. Here's my take. If Zebec announces FCA progress this week, we could see a similar 20-25% move like we saw with Kraken. The difference is, this time institutions are already positioned, liquidity is deeper, and the regulatory narrative is stronger. This is not financial advice. I'm just sharing the data. But the setup is clear. Regulatory catalysts, institutional accumulation, mainstream partnerships, and infrastructure that connects crypto to traditional finance. If you're following ZBCN, this week could be historic. Drop a comment with your price predictions and follow DeFi Crypto Talk for daily updates. Let's see what happens. Hold the frame. Conviction builds into the weekly close. Fade to black, but the thesis remains intact. Morning commuters cross the bridge with steady cadence, footsteps matching market rhythm, disciplined, measured, and focused. Momentum forms quietly in routine, and preparation meets opportunity as the city exhales into a week that could reset expectations. Server lights pulse like a heartbeat, each diode a confirmation of uptime, resilience, and throughput. Infrastructure is not glamorous, yet it is the difference between promises and performance when demand surges. On the calendar, final October dates are circled. Ink drying beside reminders. Compliance, liquidity, execution. Timelines compress. Decisions compound. Signals overtake speculation. On a calm trading floor, analysts monitor feeds, adjust orders, and watch correlations shift. Silence here is not hesitation, it is concentration before deployment. Day turns to night as skyline lights emerge, and with them, new sessions, new liquidity, and new catalysts traveling across time zones. Final card: patience, discipline, and risk controls. The story continues tomorrow, with or without headlines, because the build never stops.